Ready? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Plan Advisory Committee for the town of Quispamsis for Tuesday, November the 9th. Approval, I move to item 2. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? Oops, hang on. Mark?
So move.
A seconder on that? Brenda?
I second that.
Can we vote on that, please? Motion carried by a vote of 4-0. We'll move on to the next item. Item 3, disclosure of interest. None being, we'll move on to item 4, approval of previous minutes. Is there any adjustment to the minutes? None being, can I have a motion to approve previous minutes, please? Brent?
So moved.
Seconder on that?
I second that.
All right, can we vote, please? Motion carried by a vote of 4-0. We'll move on to item 5, business arising from previous minutes. Can I have a motion to receive and file, please?
So moved.
Can I have a seconder on that? Brenda?
I second that.
Can we have a vote on that, please? Motion carried by a vote of 4-0. We'll move on to item 6. Item 6A, unfinished business, the town's sign bylaw. We need a motion to... Okay, that's gonna be deferred till the next meeting for the town's sign bylaw amendment. That being, we'll move on to item 7A. Okay, let me get this up here. Item 7A, 7 Heritage Way, PID 303-28090. Could the applicant please come up to the podium? And Jennifer, could you please introduce that topic, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant is requesting feedback. The applicant is requesting approval to erect their fence along 18 meters of a property line with their neighbor. I believe it is, oh, sorry, folks. Western side property line, my apologies. And it is proposed to contain the family dog. Notice was sent to neighboring properties within 50 meters and no concerns have been received. Staff have no concerns.
Thank you, Jennifer. Could the applicant please state your name for the record?
Yes, Andre Charon. Last name is Charron.
Okay, Sharon?
Yes, if you want to pronounce it that way.
Okay. You would have received the same package we did in the mail. Is there anything you'd like to add or discuss prior to members of PAC or members of the public asking you questions?
No, I think it's complete.
Okay, thank you. Any members of PAC have any questions for the applicant? Is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience or online willing to speak for or against this item? None being, would a member of PAC like to put a motion for or against with terms and conditions, please? Kendall?
I recommend the Planning Advisory Committee approve the setback variance of approximately 0.6 meters from section 6S7 of the zoning bylaw 038 for a fence on 7 Heritage Way, PID 30328090, subject to the following terms and conditions. Number 1, all construction work, including fence post holes, is to be done on applicant's property with clear and accurate account of the property lines. Number 2, a building permit is issued in accordance with the town's bylaw 055 prior to any construction.
Can I have a seconder on that? Brenda?
I'll second that.
Is there any debate on the question? Brent?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing we probably should add to that is, with the survey markers being clearly defined, so they can follow that line to put the fence in.
Okay, thank you. It's good add. Any further debate on that?
Can I add a comment to that?
No, probably not, no.
Or just an observation, anyway. Sorry, that's okay.
No. Can we have a vote on that? Any more debate? Any further debate?
We have the motion that Brent did. Repeat it.
Okay, yeah, the motion is, what Brent added was that all the property pins are clearly identified, so the fence is on the applicant's property. That was the addition. To ensure that the fence is on the applicant's property. A motion carried on by a vote of 4-0. So with saying that, Mr. Sharon, the next 5 to 7 business days, you're gonna have a letter in the mail. And if there's any concerns or issues around that, maybe work that out with the town.
Yes.
Just to make sure that, we wanna make sure that that's clearly identified, that the fence is on your the fence is gonna be on your property. That's the concern, so.
Yes,
So congratulations and best of luck.
thank you.
We're gonna move on to item 7B, 355 Hampton Road. Jennifer, maybe you wanna talk about that for a second, or? The applicant's not available for that this time. Oops, sorry, get you on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's correct. The applicant is not available for this evening. And it is an application for a height variance, but as I began to research the file more, I became aware that this was a Section 39 developers agreement, which means it was a developers agreement made as a result of a rezoning. And as such, council really needs to, they are the ones that have the authority to make a decision about amending a developers agreement. The developers agreement will need to be amended for because there have been additions and things have been added that are not in the developers agreement, such as storage. So it's very important that we make sure those details are captured and the developers agreement is accurate. So with that, I would like to propose that the PAC put forward a motion to defer the discussion this evening and to refer the file to the town's clerk's office for the developer agreement. It's now a Section 59 because the Community Planning Act has been written since, or updated since. And also due to the fact that the applicant is not present, we feel that it would be most appropriate not to have any discussions about the file until it's brought back to the PAC. So we're looking for a motion to defer and refer. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're looking for a motion to defer the meeting and then refer the applicant to council for approval because it's against the developers, going against the developers agreement.
It will take long.
So we're gonna have, anyone PAC like to put a motion for or against?
I have a motion, but I could get Violet to read it for me. If you,
Okay, Violet, you wanna read that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, this motion was handed to me by our member, Brenda Fowley, and asked to read it, sorry. Whereas this is a neighborhood commercial zone, zoned as such through a developer's agreement, through the authority of a Section 39, and now Section 59 developer's agreement, and as per the Community Planning Act of New Brunswick, is limiting the size and intensity of the business. And whereas the property owner is now seeking approval for an on-site storage facility, which does not align with the original developer's agreement, therefore, I move that the Planning Advisory Committee defer the decision regarding the 0.18 meter height variance from Section 12F1A of the zoning bylaw 038 until such time as Council has the opportunity to render a decision regarding the request to amend the developer's agreement between the Town of Quispamsis and Ascension Elevator Devices, and that the Planning Advisory Committee recommend to Council that a fine be waged against the property owner for their disregard to town bylaws, the developer's agreement, and the authority of the town staff.
Have a seconder on that? Kendall?
I'll second it.
Any debate? Any debate on the motion? Mark?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, to Jennifer, do you know if the owner planned to merge the two PID into one?
Originally, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. Originally, that was sort of the idea, was to ask them to amalgamate the two PIDs. However, it was discovered that the smaller PID is actually a buffer between the commercial property, which it's zoned, and the residential property. And therefore, we're thinking that that PID should remain just as one, to clearly delineate the buffer zone from the property.
Mr. Chairman, through you again. If I look at the plan in front of me here, the red line overlap the adjacent property. So that being the case, if it's if the small PID is a
Oh, yeah, yeah. So Mark, about that, so I think we have to defer that, then we can just talk about it at the next meeting, can't we? Point of order, that, because if we're just referring that to council,
it will be returned to PAC.
it's coming back to PAC, Mark?
that's fine, yeah.
Am I talking out of turn there, Jennifer?
It's my understanding that once it comes back to PAC, if it does indeed receive the developer agreement amendment, that it will return to PAC, and at that time we will have discussion and we can talk about all the issues, especially with the applicant present to defend and answer any questions that PAC may have. So I think that we should save our questions about this file for that time.
We all ready to vote on that?
We're still in debate, are we not?
Yep. Go ahead, Brent.
Regards to the motion that was made, that building has that property has 3 accessory buildings on it. Basically 2 C-cans in one building, so that's 3 accessory buildings. So does that fall, I guess, how do we address that when this goes back to council as part of the developments agreement, or is that a separate issue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. The two sea cans and the Kwanzaa hut have become one. They really are one, it's one unit. They're welded together, they become, I'm looking at it as one accessory building and not three.
Thanks, Jennifer. Any further debate? Kendall?
My only concern with the motion was, my preference would be to rely on staff to determine if fines or charges should be laid, as they're an expert and I'm not.
Speak to something on that. This is basically something that was in the staff report, and it referred to council as the one to levy a fine. And I just put it down into recommendations. It's there.
Kendall?
If staff is recommending it, I can support it.
I believe that's what you were meaning, Brenda, in that application? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yep. Okay, any further debate? Can we take a vote on that, please? That we are deferring it to future, but also referring it to council for a developer's agreement. Then they'll come back to PAC. Motion carried to defer and refer that motion, that item to council, 7B 355 Hampton Road. We'll move on to item 8. Can I have a motion to receive and file, please? Brent,
So moved.
have a seconder on that? Brenda,
I'll second that.
can we have a vote on that, please? Motion carried by a vote of 4-0. Item 9, adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Mark,
So move.
have a seconder on that, please? Brenda,
I'll second that.